Oh dear. It seems I was talking to myself. I didn't hit the go live button. Sorry about that. It's the laptop setup. But I was enjoying the conversation I was reading in the chat here because a lot of you guys were writing some very, very cool things, which like, the candle wasn't that good. There was resistance. Look at moving averages and so on. And it makes me very happy, makes me very proud because you guys are learning. You're getting good at this, which is amazing. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about why Wall Street has 5 big bullish reasons for why they're big and bullish on the market. And I want you to understand that so you have the same level of understanding as the buggers on Wall Street. And if you think that could be valuable to you, put a 5 in the chat and I'll see that this time. And make punctuality great again. Yes. The German was 7 minutes late. He was shot. That's probably what happened to my ancestors. And congratulations on hitting 300K. That's very kind of you for noticing that, Casey. Appreciate that. Yes, I saw that late last night and put a big smile on my face. It means that 300,000 of you decided this wasn't complete dross and drivel, and that you felt like you were actually getting some value from this, which is the whole point here. So it makes me very, very happy. So thanks, guys, for 300,000 people smashing that subscribe button. If you haven't done it already, you know what to do. You'll be joining a very, very good and smart group. Now, what is the first reason why we are bullish on buybacks? Well, it's on the screen right here. I'm probably pointing in the wrong direction. And it's very simple if you understand what buybacks are. And let's face it, most people don't. What are buybacks? Companies buy their own shares, which sounds a little bit scammy, doesn't it? And that's how they create demand for their own shares because nobody else wants to buy them. No, not quite. It is a way of returning money to shareholders, but it also does something very, very good for us shareholders, which is what? Okay. Imagine you have a cake, a great, big, beautiful Victoria sponge cake or something like that, and you cut it into 10 equal slices. Now you have 10 of your friends and, you're 10 people in the room and you all could get a piece of cake. Now, if I said, well, you have to pay for the cake, what would you pay for it? Well, not a lot, because you're going to get a piece of cake, no matter what you pay. Well, what if I take away 3 of those slices and I put them in the fireplace next to me here, in the incinerator? Well, now we have 7 pieces and 10 people. Now, given that you all really, really, really love this cake, what are you going to do? You're going to pay more for the cake because there's less cake. You get the idea? It's a demand and supply thing. So companies are reducing the supply of shares, which makes the shares that are remaining more valuable. But they don't do this in a straight line. No, and a buyback indicator is actually a fantastic idea, Stephen. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. That's actually a very, very good idea because it happens. Yeah, I've taken a screenshot. Stephen, I shall submit it as a request. You can also submit it as a request if you like. But essentially what it's telling you, this chart here, when it's high, a lot of buybacks. When it's low, very, very few buybacks. So why are there so few buybacks between early May and late June? Because earnings season just kicked off. And it's illegal for companies to buy their shares just before earnings. And the idea is, I suppose, if I know earnings are going to be amazing, I could buy them cheaper or something. I could sort of manipulate the market. So they can't buy, especially here, just before earnings season down here, right? So right now, as we're at the very top here, see my red arrow, we're on peak buyback season, which means lots of money from companies buying their own shares flows into the market this week and coming week. And that is very supportive. And therefore, it is a little hard to see how, let me show you the pre-market. Here's the pre-market. On the S&P, how this could be a terrible day or a terrible week. Tesla's up 1.4%, Verizon's up 2%, Google up 0.8%. That's pretty good. Apple 0.7% up, Meta 0.3% up. That is pretty good stuff, isn't it? You can look at these charts also for the NASDAQ in Trade Vision. And you can also make your own, which I absolutely love. So you could put your portfolio in here, for example, as a watch list or a sector you're watching, like semiconductors, and then you can just see the whole sector, just in like one big, beautiful, foul swoop. So it's a very, very useful thing to do, I think. And we've even built in the sectors for you here. So if you're, say, bullish on, what are we bullish on? Utilities, for example, well, you can see utilities pre-market, you could see it during the market and also post-market. And it's a very, very easy and good way to screen the market for, big movers. So how do we get out of this? That's a good question, isn't it? Anybody know? Okay, I'm going to have to... There's no all? Interesting. Let's see if we can get out of this again. That'll do. There we go. So, does that make some sense to you? Is that of some value to you? If it is, put a V in the chat, my friends. And we're going to look at item numero 2 for why we are bullish on this market. I'm just going to delete my scribbles so I can scribble on it once more and a bit more clearly. Mr. Moose there. Yeah, we're putting out the Academy watch list. We're really trying to do that Sunday mornings. I mean, New York time, as early as possible. It's sometimes off by an hour or two, but yeah, the goal is so you guys get that very early Sunday mornings. That's, of course, for my mentees only, because I don't really believe in handing out great big sort of stock pick lists to everybody. It'll get you into trouble. Now, everybody out there is saying, this rally, it'd be up 25% or something. It's gone too far. Like somebody posted a comment on a video yesterday, and he wrote something like, this market's crazy. I'm waiting for it to implode. Sold everything, something like that. And there is a lesson there, which is much more money has been lost sitting on the sidelines than actually in crashes. And that's a Peter Lynch quote that I'm butchering. And one way we can sort of gauge where the market is, we can look at the position of systematic macro funds. What are these funds? They basically buy on, they sort of chase the market based on sort of data points. And they've chased quite a lot. You can see that here, right? We were down here. Now we are up there. But if you draw a straight line across, you can also see we're basically in the middle of where we normally are. So is it therefore possible for us to go much, much higher? Yes. That's what I'm trying to say with that. Does that make some sense? Again, put a 1 in the chat if that makes some sense to you. They're already predicting a crash. Yes, some people are. There are entire YouTube channels dedicated to predicting a crash every Monday. And when they're right, they make a video saying, I was right on Monday. And, why not? It is, I suppose some people just need a bit of a dose of doom and gloom every Monday morning. So, go for it. This is from a chap called Tony Pascariello. Pascariello. It's a rather complicated Italian name. And he isn't just any old Tony. He is, he's Fat Tony. No, he's Goldman Sachs Tony. So he's a very smart guy. He's generally very highly regarded. And what does he say? He says, our desk... It's just concerning that his desk talks. Modeling 100 billion of demand for global index futures, sort of like stocks, over the next month. At the same time, buyback switches will be thrown to the on position as rolling by in. I'm not inclined to pick a fight with either of these two. He's basically saying there is massive demand for stocks and the buybacks are going to go nuts. Those are the two charts I just showed you above. And therefore he's saying, be an idiot not to participate in this. That's his way of looking at it. I don't know if Tony Pascariello is fat. Who knows? But he's got the sort of influence of that. Now you're going to be asking yourself, well, therefore, what stocks do I buy? I have actually just recorded a video where I'm going to give you 3 stocks that I'm looking at later today. So again, join the 300,000 loons who've hit the subscribe button on this channel. But much, much easier would be if you could actually do this yourself and you could look at a stock and you could go, I like it, I don't like it. How do you do that? It's very simple. You learn the 3 rules that, Fat Tony is using. And that's a joke. So how do you do that? Well, there's a 15-minute video that I've recorded where I've put all my brain power into it and gave you the entire freaking system. You can watch it at felixfriends.org/get-free. There is even a QR code you can scan if you're technically capable of doing that. I went to a very nice restaurant yesterday, the sort of restaurant where it's very nice, fancy, small bits of food. And the menu was on a QR code. I find that slightly disappointing. I don't really want to read the menu on my mobile phone. And then I wanted to pay. Well, I want to try to run away, but they stopped me. And then they said, you have to pay, kicking me fiercely. And again, I had to scan a QR code, and then I had to pay on my mobile phone through Google Pay. I think it spoils the environment, to be honest with you. I think there is something nice about getting a great big menu in a restaurant, and then when you pay, getting handed a beautifully printed receipt, and then you get to pay with a credit card. But never mind. There is me ranting off there. You guys are talking about Zim. It still seems to be within the in the zone, but entirely up to you what you do with that one. So yes, go and learn that. Now, here is reason number 3. This is from Deutsche Bank, and we think very little of Deutsche Bank. But they do come up with some decent data every once in a while, and they're basically saying that they track data which shows us, it takes away from the experience. I'm with you on that one. It's just sort of, I mean, it depends on where you're going. If I'm ordering a sandwich or a cup of coffee or something, I'm perfectly happy to scan things. But if I'm sitting in a nice place, I kind of would like to see a menu. Yes, so here we are. So what does this chart show from the Germans? The Germans are saying that we bottomed out down here. That was the equity position. So how much of the money was in stocks? How much was sitting in something else? We were sort of bottom out down there, which is historically where we more or less bottom out. And right now, we're in the middle. We're at 0. We're not extended. There's plenty more money around, as Fat Tony says to us, and we could go a lot higher. So pretty much the entire run-up that we've just had, we could, in theory, go higher about 2/3 of that, which, as a percentage point, not a hard number, obviously, would be maybe another 15% or so up until we are really extended, right? So what does that say to you? Don't count out the rally yet. I still think we have a while to go. We might slow down a little bit because everyone's on holiday. That's entirely fine, but we might still go up a little bit more here. Annoying when your phone has no charge. Well, yes, that's a whole nother problem. Paper is highly destructive material. Is it? What if you're using it to start a large fire or something? Really, people are against paper? I mean, I'm not for wasting it, but I mean, I don't know. Are people against paper now? Your watch lists aren't saving, says Luke. Luke, send us a quick message. There's a support button in the bottom right corner of your TradeVision screen, and we'll get that fixed and looked at for you. Now, shall we go through the 4th point? Bank of America. They call up all the fund managers, and they do that every month, and they ask them, how are you feeling, my friend? And normally the answer is, I'm on the ledge. Should I jump? But they are actually, again, not overweight. So they ask them, are you fat? I mean, are you overweight? Stocks, not just generally overweight. The answer is probably mostly yes, unless they can no longer afford food. But then they're not paid by performance, are they? So they're probably on the larger side. I don't know why we keep talking about weight. It seems to be an obsession of mine. Where are we? We're there. That's where we are. That's how overweight they think they are. So they're at like 75. Well, the market tends to top out above 100. So what does it mean? It means potential for a lot more money to flow into the markets because the fund managers have got stuff sitting on the side. Festively plump. I don't like paper. I just hate trees. You're a very strange man. Yes, of course, there are trees in there. So you might want to find yourself some stocks. Now, we're going to look at some stocks together. You can ask me about some, but when I hit the end stream button, you'll be alone. You'll be lonely. You'll be sitting in your room and you'll be going, I wish I knew whether the stock was good or bad. How do I know? This is how you know. felixfriends.org/get-free. But in all seriousness, let's look at a couple of stocks. You can see I was looking at some of my gold stocks this morning, which are still looking pretty nice, pre-market, looking pretty sweet. Winston is at home. He is indeed. I got a nice photo of him this morning. Casey, thanks for the links. All right, what do you want me to look at? What am I getting here? I'm getting Lucid, yeah, which weirdly, it's got partnership, somebody or other. Probably look that up, can't we? Yeah, here we go. Trade Vision has pretty nice news analysis now. It's the Uber. 300 million investment from Uber to advance self-driving technology. Do you know what I think this is? I think $300 million to Uber is like spare change. It's like really irrelevant to them. And they're just thinking, we need to have a better negotiating tactic when we sit down with Tesla and we beg Elon for robo-taxis. I think that's what that is. I think this is $300 million to get a better deal with Tesla. So I don't think for one moment that they're going to buy loads and loads of Lucids. I think it is just a thing to make sure they're not left out in the cold. Is that therefore a good setup? Well, it was a massive explosion up. It's a bit extended at this point. Looking decent pre-market. Volume, well, still was a lot on Friday. I don't know. I'm not usually a huge fan of buying something after it's gapped up by, 30%. I feel a little late to the party. So let me look at some others there. Tesla is looking a little bit more happy this morning. It is once again above that purple line there. What's the purple line? Anybody know? It's a 150-day moving average line. I put them on down here. You can, of course, make them any color. You can change them to whatever color you want in Trade Vision. But yeah, we'd need to close above it. We did that on Friday, literally by a hair breadth width. So positive, could be a little gap up, which would be very positive. But still, to me, not a classic buy. $150, you guys are all right. AMD. To me, that continues to look very, very good. Why? The beautiful gap up last week. The week ended up higher. Moving up a little pre-market. Not a lot, but a little. And by the way, stocks don't go up in a straight line. So, we did this, right? It's entirely possible we're going to do a bit of this and then a bit more of that. So again, I wouldn't worry too much about teeny tiny movements in price because they're just going to be part of the whole thing. EXK. That dropped a little on Friday. It seems to be recovering, which is good. Pre-market, we're up about 12, 13, 14 cents here, which is definitely good. So again, look at the breakouts here, right? Sideways down, sideways, sideways, sideways up, and now we're going down a little bit again. This is just natural movements of stock prices. So obviously set your stops and so on. But at least from my entry point there, you're up about 9%, which is pretty good. Wally, 5 minutes till the market opens. Okay, what else have we got in here? 4-minute warning. Why 150-day over 200? 200 is really just like a very long frame. If you're buying, say you're buying SPY or something like the S&P, and the only time I'd really look at the 200 is buy it when it's below it. That's usually a good thing for an index. But for a stock, nothing good happens down there usually. So we don't like to buy stocks when they're cheap because cheap's a relative term, right? Ask plug shareholders, for example. You get the idea, right? Cheap is a relative term. People told you it was cheap at 25 and at 60 and at 30 and at 17 and at 12 and at 10 and at 7 and it's at $1.75 right now, and that's a breakout. There's a tremendous rally up here. We're up sort of 100-something% from the bottom. So yeah, don't buy cheap. Forget cheap. Utilities, says Scott. Yeah, that's starting to look, and I know you guys are talking about that. Our mentors are talking about that. It's starting to look pretty sweet, isn't it? That's a nice sort of zone there, isn't it? If you just sort of look at how that's trading, sort of simplified. We've broken out of that pretty nicely. Volume, decent, not huge, but decent. So yeah, interesting sector right now. And here, look at those October highs there. We break out of those, potentially we can go quite a lot higher. NAK. That looks pretty hideous, doesn't it? I don't recall where the entry point was on that one. It's a good lesson on why stops are a good idea, right? A very, very good idea. So wherever you got in on this, maybe you got in on this on here or somewhere, or maybe there. Well, you might have wanted to set a stop either here or either there or somewhere like that to make sure you don't lock those things in. So it's very, very hard to buy something and hold it and forget about it. I know it's sort of this myth that Wall Street tries to tell you. Well, they try to tell you that because they want you to leave their money in their funds and their ETFs and in your brokerage account. But in reality, most stocks experience this. So does this look good right now? Nope. Nope, not at all. So stops are good. What else have we got here? I'm seeing some Archer. ACHR. That's looking lovely, isn't it? Near the top end there of that zone, it's looking pretty strong at the beginning of the day. It'd be nice if we take out these highs here and the ones that we had. That would help us to pop up quite a lot more. But yeah, it looks good. I'm glad I'm still in that one. What else have we got? CRSP. Load to the boat. Is this 2021 or what is it? But yeah, that looks very good. You're right. It looks very, 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 very good. So you get your breakout somewhere here, zigzag up very nicely. Second chance, right? Gives you a gap up, which tells you good second chance. And right now we are gapping up again here a little bit. So again, not telling you to buy it, but yeah, it's a good setup. High risk, potentially high reward. Yo, Adrienne, I'm very glad to hear that, and congrats. What else have we got in the chat here? We've got a minute till the market opens. Not sure what's hammering ASPI. I don't really care about what's hammering something. I mean, you call that hammering? Oh, come on. This is trading like at an extraordinary high level. It's had a beautiful run up and facing a little bit of resistance on the previous highs. I mean, it's not, look at the volume there on that run up. It's just something moves up that much. You know, what was the candle on Thursday? It's 18% up and you're sweating that it's down 5%. You got to get some perspective. You buy something that moves 18% in a day, expect it to drop twice as much on bad days. So it goes up 18%, you might get a 36% day down on one day. If you don't like that, you can't live with it, you can't sleep with it, your stomach lining disagrees with it, don't buy the bloody thing. Now the market is officially open, so let's switch to the live market heat map. Amazon up a percentage. Is that right? Is that? Do we update that on the second? Let me just double check whether that's a few seconds late. Amazon is, no, it's flat. So let me just hit refresh. It's actually good to know how quickly that gets updated, and maybe we can improve that because I'd like us to. No, still not. Still not. Interesting. Okay, we'll do something about that. Oh, there we are. There we go. So maybe we were a little early because it still says 9:30 on my front. Let me look at that. Time. No, not times of Israel. Time. Okay. Yeah, so maybe it is right, but I'll double check that for sure as well. So we're looking at Google 1.1% up. Congratulations, my friends, if you're in that. T is looking good. Verizon up 3%. Tesla's up 2%. Let's hope it closes there. Coinbase is looking very green, as is Intel up 1.6%. The lagouts seem to be catching up. AMD is up 0.8%. Tech looks pretty good overall. Let's have a look at sectors here. This is in Trade Vision if you want to look at this yourself too. Communication looks good. What else looks good overall? I mean, it all looks good pretty much overall, doesn't it? Have a look at the NASDAQ as well. And Tesla is the big runner up there. The ARM as well, 2.3%. That looks pretty good. CHTR is looking pretty good overall. we're quite happy with this. Aren't we? Are we quite happy with this? I'm pretty happy with this. How do you feel about hollow candle display? I think it adds nothing, so I won't bother. I just keep it simple. Like, there's no need to offer people options that are actually going to give them zero value. So, but every time we add something to Trade Vision, we're like, is this going to add value to most people? And slightly different shade of green will certainly not do that. Archer looking like a textbook breakout. Yep, I agree with you on that. We just had a quick look on that. It looks good. It could be a little higher, you know, maybe 13, maybe even 14. And that will be even cleaner. But yeah, the volume is very, very encouraging here on that run up there. So it was just a little bit late. And, you know, one of the reasons it's probably getting some momentum is because of Joby, because Joby is massively run ahead here of Archer. DPRO. Yeah, nice one. Nice one. Another gap up here this morning. Bear in mind, this is a loony stock that moves 40% in a day, so you better have your stops. But yeah, it looks very nice here this morning. T-Ray, I'm glad you're enjoying the heat map there in Trade Vision. What else we got? We just looked at Joby. What about some of our sort of classics? SoFi, it's down a percentage point this morning. I wouldn't really say that matters. It's just a little bit of a sideways move there. What about something like Palantir? That is, well, it's flat, 0.1% down. It's neither here nor there. So that's also looking pretty good. Do you set new stops during the day or after the market closes? I don't think it really matters. I only look at it after the market closes personally, because you become a bit of a busy idiot if you keep adjusting stuff. So yeah, for me, it's a end of day kind of a look at it. And again, I only look at things that are up 10%, because if it goes down, well, we don't adjust it because that would be silly. But if it goes up, say 10%, then it might be time to move the stop. Not always, but it might be time. The Rigetti, our favorite Italian pasta stock, masquerading as a quantum play. That looks pretty good again, doesn't it? So again, I'm quite happy about that little breakout there. And sometimes patience gets rewarded, right? We sort of sat through the miserable days here. Nothing was going on. We get that blow up there, and we're consolidating at a very, very nice level at the moment. So quite happy about Rigetti. Is there going to be a desktop app? Why the heck would you have a desktop app if it works in the browser? What would be the advantage? I don't think there will be any advantage in that. Now, use it in the browser, use it in mobile. I don't think we're going to build a desktop app. QBTS, another quantum sort of software play. Yeah, it looks also fantastic. Why fantastic? Because it's at the very top. It's almost a breakout, right? So we had a breakout here. That was our entry point. Then we went a little sideways. And then the question is whether you were patient enough. And right now we're literally at the top end of that level there, 1930. So take this to 1950 or to 20, and we might see another huge move up. Might. No promises made, right? What else we got here? KOPN. Yup, that looks also very good, doesn't it? We do call them right sometimes, don't we? Quite a lot of the time, actually, which is why life is so bloody wonderful. When is the Android app coming? It's already out. It's been out for ages. Been out for absolute ages. Just download it. And look, we've done iPads, we've done Apple, we've done Android. It's all there, and I love it. I think it's really useful. So if you haven't signed up to that yet, Trade Vision guys, there is a free trial to it, so check it out. And then the nice thing is you also get your, here it is. You also get your drawings and your notes and stuff from the chart. They sync. You get notifications. So you can set up notifications either on the mobile or on the desktop, and they will sync across. So very, very, very cool, very, very useful, and a ton more stuff coming to mobile over the next couple of weeks. So check it out. When will be the app for my Motorola Flip, says George. What does that run on? Your Motorola Flip, the 1990s. What else have we got here? Path, one of sort of Kathy's old favorites, which is actually a good stock, I'd say. Would I buy it here? What do I always say? Stocks run in 4 patterns, right? There is the running down the hill pattern because it's hot and you're bored. Then there is the run up here. And then there is the exhaustion phase, which is what we're in right now. Do we buy in the exhaustion phase? Only if you like your money to not perform for you. So no, we don't, because at the moment there's an equal chance it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So we wait for it to actually break out of that zone before we do anything. So watch the masterclass that I linked to down below, my friends, and it'll make a heck of a lot more sense to you. My first mobile was a Motorola, wasn't it? I can't remember what mine was, actually. Maybe a Nokia or something like that. Some sort of brick that you could kill people with. Hello, Moto. Oh, yes, I do recall that. Can't see an Android version. Well, I've got it. It's in the it's in the store. It's probably linked on the website as well. What's the 4th pattern? Well, there is down, there is consolidation, right? There is up, there is consolidation, and then there is down or there is up. It's basically that. It just moves in the same predictable patterns. And once you understand what triggers those, and what is the point where it flips from one to the other, which is obviously the interesting bit. What is it that stops the sell-off here into consolidation, and at what point do we actually want to then go and buy that? And the point was, well, depends on whether you're a trader. If you're a trader, it was about here. If you're an investor, it was, well, it wasn't the most beautiful, but yeah, this was probably it. And then you probably got stopped out. But that happen sometimes. But yeah, you can see that support zone it's created here, and you can see the resistance above it. So where do I want to buy it? I want to buy it up here, right? I don't want to buy it where it is right now. Why? Counterintuitive. Why do I want to pay more for a stock? Because very likely to then go up rather than go down. And that's how you get into, beautiful setups like my best performing stock right now. Avis, yes, the sexy car company, which is up about 100% right now. Health is number 1, money is number 2. I agree with Yola, although I would argue it is easier to be healthy when you have money. Why? Well, I woke up this morning at 7:30 a.m. I went down into the gym and I worked out with my trainer for an hour. You need money for that, right? Both for the gym and for the trainer. And I would never, ever be able to I just wouldn't have the energy to do it, the drive to do it if he wasn't there. So, and then I eat very healthy food and I have a whole bunch of supplements over here and all that kind of stuff. So I think it helps. It wouldn't trade one for the other, but I still think it's helped. Is the dark pool function of Trade Vision worth it? Just try it. Try it out. There's a free trial. So just try it. That's the whole point. Do you set buy orders for after closing above or breaking above? I generally do closing down. It's a little bit more fiddly, but you can do it in Think or Swim, for example, or in any major brokerage. It's a little bit more fiddly. Both is probably okay, but yeah, I like a closing price. Scott, you've been in UUUU for a couple of months. Yeah, me too. And it's now like, what, 2nd or 3rd best performing stock or something like that, right? Did absolutely nothing for a really, really, really long period of time. I mean, it was bought it somewhere, I don't know, here or something, I guess. And it just did like 15%, actually underperformed the market for ages, but it was still in that zone, right? So it wasn't like a sell for me, and the highs kept going a little higher, and now we're up, 70 something percent, which is very, very nice. Happiness is there somewhere too. Absolutely, Carrie. Not necessarily in the gym. the happiness. But there is actually. My handstands are getting better, which creates some happiness. Mid-May, also, it was even earlier, was it? Yeah, I sort of thought it was late May. You got in a bit sooner, in which case you sat through it even a little bit more pain. Love moving my UUU stop losses. It's fun, isn't it? Actually, I'm giving you another uranium stock a little later as well, if you check that out. And Scott, yeah, exactly. This is what Scott's completely right down there. You see the breakout here, right, where it starts moving up, and you see what volume absolutely goes nuts and stays really, really high compared to the flattishness that we had, with that exception here, that breakout there, right? That was the exception, which was probably the entry point. So that means institutional money is pouring into it. And once you understand those pieces and how they fit together, life becomes wonderful and easier and happier and healthier. It's true. It all works together. So that was it. Yeah, probably that point there on the big volume, wasn't it? When it just broke through the 150, which would make sense. And that also makes sense why my blue line is in there. I should annotate my charts more carefully. But yeah, that was probably it. Dropped a little lower, which again, you need to understand that that happens almost every single time. Gapped up, that was optimistic. And then it's just sort of very, very gradually went up. Look at the lows, right? They just continue to be slightly higher, and then you go to the moon. So a bit of patience is a good thing sometimes. You know, you're paying someone to teach you handstands. He's a lovely guy. He's an amazing guy. Actually, he's a great coach. He's a German guy in Tel Aviv in Israel. We've had a few sessions where you had to run into a bunker and that sort of thing. But no, he's a great coach. And he's taken me from never being able to do one, literally could never do a handstand, not even as a child. Couldn't get my arms like, higher than that sort of thing. And you obviously need them to be straight. So in a couple of months, I'm now, sort of balancing, not for terribly long, but I'm standing up, and it's a very nice feeling. It's a very, very cool feeling. It makes you feel a heck of a lot better. And obviously we do a lot of other stuff too, but yeah, highly recommended. What do you think of EasyJet? Scum of the earth as an airline. Wouldn't fly it if you paid me. That would be my general view of EasyJet. I mean, what's with the orange and the seats you can't move and the drunk passengers? Really, honestly, couldn't pay me to go on an EasyJet flight. Israelis are bright. They are actually, yes, they are. They're very sharp. Damn it, Felix, eat a steak. That's one thing that's never going to happen, my friend. Many things will happen, but that one would very, very, very much surprise me. I haven't eaten meat since I was 12, so it's been a couple of weeks. This is the market, and big boys. Apple up 1.7%. Who's buying that rubbish? Anyway, I'm glad they are. Google is up 1.9%. Meta's up 1.4%. You know who's buying that? It's buybacks. Remember my buyback chart at the beginning of the day? Who are the biggest guys with the buybacks? I think it's buyback money. Intel is up 2%. Qualcomm, AMAT, Crowd. Tesla is flat again. It's a bit disappointing. Uber is up 1.1%. PayPal is up 2.5%. So it looks like a beautiful start to the week. Could be worse. You could fly with Ryanair. Yeah, that's also pretty bad. There's a lovely quote. You can find it on online of their CEO, who's Irish, I believe, and he said something about my fellow people, the Germans, and he said, excuse my French, Germans will crawl bollock naked over broken glass for cheap airfares. And he's right. Germans are cheap. So yes, another airline I shall avoid. Vegetarians rule. I'm not sure they rule, but it just feels better to me. Never fly EasyJet. BA. Yeah, I also think BA is a horror show, but can't avoid it sometimes within Europe. I flew Swiss the other day. It's all right. But you know what? I actually think, okay, I used to always be in economy all my life, right? But I've managed to retire and my money works very nicely for me and so on. So I like comfort. Europeans don't have a business class. They just cordon off the first couple of rows and they call it a business class. But the seat is the same. It doesn't bloody move. You're sitting upright. And yes, there is no one next to you, but it's still the same freaking seat. It's just very low expectations in Europe, I must say. Just very low expectations. People just don't really expect comfort or service or anything nice. It's just like, It'll get us there. It's basic. It's weird, I think. I find it very weird. People have such low standards. But there we are. Offended an entire continent, which is always a good start. Europe is a joke, says Daniel. There is some element to that. There's some beautiful stuff, obviously, in Europe. I mean, I'm in London right now, which the Brits don't consider to be Europe, which is true. It's not the continent. But it's beautiful. You walk through, you see all the lovely architecture and, you know, beautiful weather, and it's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, most people live in pretty low standards, and it's kind of sad to see. So there we are. I wish you guys a beautiful rest of the day. Will we do a live tomorrow? I'm not sure. I think I might be on a plane. See how the Wi-Fi is.